Today, I'm going to show you how to build some force perspective LEGO MOCs, keeping the piece count very low. So of course, you might have seen online some very big force perspective build that require a lot of parts. Today, we're going to try to keep it small. One kind of idea could be this RP habitat that I built recently, but this is not exactly what we're going to look into it today. Even though we have micro scale at the bottom and minifigure scale on top. Today we are going to look at something a little bit more like this bridge Duel that you find on my channel, and I will link down below. And we're going to keep it even smaller, below 100 parts. So again, here I'm building for the Rogue Olympics, so I need to keep the piece count below 100. So what I did is I started with a very simple base. You see very few parts here, and not much detail on the ground, because then we're going to have a shot, a picture from this very low perspective, so we are not going to see much of this detail. Now, the idea is to have Hercules back, because the topic of this week was uplift, so we are going to have Hercules lifting a big rock. It's not my first Hercules MOC. I built a very nice, fun habitat not long ago. You can check it out. So here we have Hercules in the center, and I prepare a big rock that is going to be the centerpiece of this build. You can see the backside is empty, again, to try to keep the piece count to the minimum. This is going to connect with a trans clear parts at the back, so from the front it cannot be seen, and it's looking like Hercules is lifting this big rock. Of course, the perspective will be much, much closer to the camera at the end when I will show you. Now, I need to try to frame this a little bit. So we have the big centerpiece at the front, a few details and colors over there. We are going to add two sort of columns, one laying on the floor here and one diagonal over there. And we can also add Hercules shield here to give another additional detail and pop of color. So now we've actually framed the picture. So we have a little bit of details at the back side on the two sides and the big centerpiece. So what I did at the back is add this very simple structure in lime with some trees and a couple of hills sort of thing. So this is going to be sitting on the back. Again, this is because when you look at this from the right perspective, and let me see if I can show you with the camera, then you will be able to see this in the background. So as you can see, I try to follow the shape of the rock for these trees that are going to go a little bit lower at the back. And then I have the space to add one more structure on the left and one more structure on the right. So again, let's put this back over here. So you can see, guys, it's an extremely simple build. But in a moment, I will show you how it works when the picture is done. So I'm going to add one simple temple build over here on the left and one bigger 10 temple here on the right, just sitting there. So you can see this is a very simple build. Of course, it's not a display piece. You cannot display this anywhere. I mean, potentially you could if you frame it nicely. But then what you're going to do is you're going to go with your camera, you're going to put the right angle, go lower in line with the figure with a nice blue background. And this is the final result. This is a picture I take on a 1x1 format with just some basic simple editing made with Canva. So as you can see, very, very simple and straightforward. But then after this, I try to take it up a notch. So let's move this to the side. I try to make something even nicer, again, with the piece count below 100. This one was even smaller, I think only 91 pieces, the next one. So here we have a sort of Ninjago kind of figure. We have this rock, again, backside with not much, because we need to keep the piece count low. This is in the foreground, so we have this skinny rock, to which we have this sort of meditation kind of yoga pose. So the topic of this build was mind. So my idea was to create a sort of mindfulness moment. So what I did after this is add a background. So here you can see I have this sort of bracket piece, to which I'm going to add another plate on which I added some nicely detailed rock, a micro scale tree, and a sort of micro scale Torii gate kind of thing. This is going to be at the back over here, connecting to the bracket. Let's just find the right spot. There we go. So again, this, when you go close, you can see the figure in the foreground. You can see a little bit of details on the right and left side of the figure, and also on the side with these rocks, and a little bit of elevation here. Of course, this is not enough. I'm going to add a bigger rock piece over here on the left side that is going to be in the background, and another one more or less around here. So we have two sort of mountains on the side that are again framing the picture to the side. Over here on the left, I'm going to add a sort of waterfall. I already create some waterfall in this style in some of my builds. In micro scale, of course, you can check my Japanese castle landscape to find something like this. Very interesting build, that one. And now the centerpiece of this build is going to be this very nice dish from the Starry Night. I used this as well before in one of my micro scale habitat that was done for the Nightmare Before Christmas. This is going to go, this is a bit of an illegal technique. To keep the piece count low, I just stuck this one in between studs. That is not legal, but is my bricks. So with my bricks, I can do whatever I like. Anyway, I still have actually space for a few parts. So potentially I could add a couple of brackets or modified bricks and make it connect properly, even though keeping the piece count below 100. So this basically is going to be just at the back of the figure. Okay, something like that. And then I wanted to add a little bit more of these sort of monkey kid kind of clouds. So I just acquired 4 of those. So I'm going to add one here again with the same technique. So here we're going to add a little bit of depth. So this one is coming in front. The other one is going at the back. And then I mounted another 2 on this transparent part. They're going to go on the left side. So it's going to make the sky really, really interesting. Something like this. Now, of course, with the right perspective, then everything is going to look very nice. Then again, I'm going to show you. You need to go with the right camera. In this case, of course, I find a more fitting background. So I put a pink color sheet at the back. I zoom in, focus on the foreground, and this is the final result with a little bit of editing to make it very nice. So you can see with very few parts, you can create some very interesting force perspective build. And if you like these small kind of builds, you can find a lot on my channel, because I like to build with a small piece count in most of my MOCs, because I don't have a big collection. And you can go and check out my first 4 builds that I made for the Rogue Olympics this year. Then you can find it in this video over here on the right side. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you on the next video. Ciao, ciao.